Welcome to the Digital Production Buzz at the 2015 NAB Show. Hi, this is Larry Jordan, and this interview was recorded live on the trade show floor. For more information, visit digitalproductionbuzz.com. He really doesn't need an introduction, but it's in his contract, so I've got to go ahead. Philip Hodgetts is a wizard when it comes to programming and knowledge of nonlinear editing. He's the president of Intelligent Assistance, the author of more software packages than I can shake a stick at. And Philip, it's great to have you back.
Thank you.
Big news this morning, 9:01, Apple announces the latest version of Final Cut, version 10.2. What's the news?
A quite good feature upgrade. I mean, it's been a while since we had a feature upgrade. We had the MXF upgrade mid-year, but this time we've got a whole bunch of new features in Final Cut Pro 10. Biggest is, of course, for me, because it's the metadata-related one, is that we can now have smart collections at the library level, which is really just a logical extension of where we were with smart collections anyway. All that's different is that now, instead of being limited to one event at a time, and you could select multiple events and do a smart collection across them, now we can just do smart collections that pull from the entire library at once, and I think that makes a lot of sense.
Now, the thing I was impressed with is the smart collections have, which is really just a saved search, is it's already got 5 existing smart collections. Yeah. It shows you all of your projects. You don't have to create a separate project folder. It allows you to see all of your favorites when you're doing ratings. So it's designed already out of the box to start to answer basic questions that you need in terms of the software.
Yeah, yes.
And what other features caught your eye?
Well, the big feature, the one that the big eye candy feature, is 3D titles. And this is really a lot more powerful than I thought it was at first blush. I thought 3D titles, yes, great. You know, we've been doing 3D titles in Boris Red and Graffiti for years, and it's maybe not quite at that level, but it's a very, very good 3D system for editors. And this is what we're really focused on with Final Cut Pro 10. This is the tool for editors who need to do everything but don't necessarily have great design skills, and that's a part of the power that Apple gives us. It's really a full 3D subsystem shared between Motion and Final Cut Pro 10. We have easy textures to be applied, full lighting that can be applied, of course animation, rotation, extrusion, bevels. All these things are under your control, and you know, these are things that can be published out of Motion. So this morning we saw new templates from the usual suspects: Ripple Training, Motion VFX, Noise Industries. So they're taking advantage of that already. So I thought that was pretty powerful. But I noticed somebody pointed out on fcp.co that, you know, well, it's got no shapes. Well, in fact, there are lots and lots and lots of shapes we can use. Most people don't realize there are fonts that are glyphs. I mean, look, I found a font.
Shapes.
Yes, that are shapes. I found a font that is just a whole bunch of images of Corey Feldman, if you remember him.
Well, one of the things that impressed me about the 3D titles was its materials, where you're able to map different textures and different colors to the glyph. And you've got 6 sides. You've got the front edge, the sides, the side edge, and the back. And to be able to change the textures and colors associated with each of these, I was very struck with how flexible and powerful those were.
They are, yes. It's a very, very powerful feature. And of course, you know, we're moving more into an era where people expect eye candy. I find myself editing and thinking, you know what? My editing is not really modern and punchy because it doesn't have the eye candy that everyone's doing. I'm having to ramp up the eye candy just because that's what's now current. So the easier it is for the eye candy, the happier I am.
Well, one of the other features they added was new improvements to XML. What's going on there?
Well, yes, XML has finally got fairly stable. I mean, the XML Interchange format is how Final Cut Pro 10 talks to other applications, like all the applications that we have from Intelligent Assistance and Lumberjack System. And it's important for us that we have accuracy in that. Well, with the 1.4 XML version, which was with 10.1.2, we got support for libraries. What we've really got in this latest release, the 10.1.5 release of the XML, the 1.5 release of the XML, is that now we have only the changes that we've adapted the XML to the changes in this version. So, for example, now that the color board is an effect rather than a fixed place in the pipeline, that changes in the XML a little bit. The optical flow, you know, there's new optical flow and there's old optical flow, and that's reflected in the XML. But generally speaking, it's very much the same as it was for the 1.4 release. And one of the cool features is that finally in 10.2.2 we can save as 1.4 XML, so we can go back one version to 10.1.2.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. I wouldn't as I always recommend that don't rely on XML as the way to go back or to interchange with other people. We should be doing libraries and events for the interchange. But certainly there was a period where I needed to go back for one reason or the other. We don't need to go into the details. And I found that, yes, it went back into the earlier version of Final Cut Pro 10 with no loss, but it was a fairly simple event.
What's your thought on the new scopes?
I like scopes. I like to be able to get that insight into my image and having more of them visible at once and having more configurability, I guess is the word, on the way we can set them up. That I think is a great thing. I mean, I like having scopes. I like seeing what's happening in my image, and the scopes really tell us a lot. I don't think you can grade without looking at scopes.
One of the things that I like that Apple didn't mention at all is they've changed the keyword search box.
Oh, yes.
And now you can expand the size so you're not limited to 27 keywords.
Isn't that a wonderful advantage? You know, you wouldn't think that was such a big thing, but when you start to get a lot of keywords and a lot of keyword collections being at that fixed size and having to scroll, it was so annoying. And in fact, I had to be told this morning that was a feature. I'd missed that in my review period.
I discovered it by accident. I was doing some new training for Final Cut 10 too, and was updating the section on smart collections. And when I realized the keyword search had improved, I sent an email off to the appropriate people at Apple with just the word "yay" in it.
Yeah, and that has been a very sore point for a long time.
What's one of the Apple's been promoting the new camera support. Finally, XAVCS is supported. Long GOP H.264 from JVC is supported. AVC Ultra from Panasonic is supported, which is all really cool. And they've been promoting the video scopes and the 3D text. What's a feature that's less obvious that you like?
Oh, I have to now get a mental image of my review myself to get the work down the headings.
Have you noticed the changes in importing?
Oh yes, the combined import dialog is awesome. I guess I've been using that for a couple of months now, and so I'd forgotten how convenient that was. Yeah, having all of your import settings right there in the import dialog means it's a lot less likely for me to save something into the library when I meant to save it to an external storage location, or vice versa. And having those controls there makes sure that I'm doing the thing that I want for that.
Philip, where can we go on the web to keep track of what you and your team are up to?
Intelligent Assistance is our primary site for the Final Cut 10 software. Lumberjack System is my passion at the moment, and of course philiphodgetts.com.
And the Philip Hodgetts himself, President of Intelligent Assistance, is joining us this morning. Philip, thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure.